So I have the great privilege now of introducing our keynote speaker, and he is a leader in defense, in education, and in healthcare issues in the Senate, in the United States Senate. He's a member of the Armed Services Committee, the Appropriations Committee, and the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee. In the Senate, he has done some really important work, including putting more police officers on the street and making a home easier and more affordable. Most importantly, in some ways, he is a tireless advocate for Rhode Island and for Rhode Island small businesses. I say this with great pride because my husband is from Rhode Island, and my brother-in-law, David Mills, who the senator knows, is an optometrist in Rhode Island, and so I know Rhode Island small businesses need all the senator's help and support, and that they get it. And he has been very supportive also of our Phoenix Award winner from Rhode Island, Westerly Auto Parts of Westerly, Rhode Island. Please help me welcome a great supporter of small business, Senator Jack Reed.
Thanks very much, Karen. It's an honor to be here to recognize the extraordinary individuals who are this year's Phoenix Award honorees. And I appreciate very much being singled out as a great supporter of small business, but obviously, given my size, I support everything small. I want to recognize James Rivera, the Associate Administrator for the Office of Disaster Assistance, for your great work. And I particularly want to thank Karen Mills for that very, very kind introduction and for her leadership. We're also joined here by Mark Haywood, who is the Rhode Island SBA Director. Mark is, I think, the best state SBA director in the country, and I'm completely objective, but he's terrific. And Gene Hewlett, who is the regional director. Gene is an extraordinarily capable person. Thank you all. I certainly want to recognize the awardees. Mayor Gary Norwood, who's receiving the award for outstanding contribution to disaster recovery by a public official. Larry J. Silvey, who is receiving the outstanding contribution to disaster recovery by a volunteer. And Rhode Island's own, Wesley's own, Jamie V. Silvestri, for his small business activities. I also want to recognize Jamie's family. His wife Sue and children Elizabeth and Domenica. They're all here, and we're all proud of them. And finally, I want to recognize the Rhode Island SBA Person of the Year, Kathleen Devlin, for her efforts. So Kathleen, congratulations to you. For nearly 6 decades, the Small Business Administration has been aiding disaster survivors across the United States. In fact, in this time period, 1.9 million disaster loans have been made for a total of $49 billion. That has put a lot of businesses back on their feet, helped a lot of individuals struggling with a disaster get back, get productive, and contribute to their communities. Since 1953, the SBA disaster loans have helped homeowners, renters repair their facilities, their homes, their apartments, and get going. And of course, they've helped millions of businesses across the country and nonprofits recover, rebuild inventory, fix facilities, make sure that they're open for business and that their community can depend upon them once again. Currently, the SBA is responding to presidential disaster declarations in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, North Carolina, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. More than 200 field staff are deployed, and they've already issued 44,000 disaster loan applications in these facilities. This is an ongoing national effort that is carried out with consummate professionalism and skill. And indeed, they're still working in the states of Florida, Indiana, Ohio, Hawaii, California, and Texas on previous disaster declarations. So this is an organization that is efficient, effective, represents the best of our government, helping Americans deal with disasters and helping them contribute to the country overall, and I salute them. Now today, at this 2011 Phoenix Awards, we are gathered to salute and pay tribute to some very special individuals. And if I could just describe what these extraordinary individuals have done. The Phoenix Award for Outstanding Contribution to Disaster Recovery by a Public Official, Mayor Gary Norwood. After unprecedented flooding in 2010 in Ashland City, Tennessee, the mayor responded, as mayors do, with skill and integrity and great energy. Now, Ashland's a town of about 4,500 people. The mayor just took charge, get people organized, had the federal first responders, the local first responders, all coordinated, making sure that his city had safe drinking water for its inhabitants. But one of the big challenges was to make sure that the biggest manufacturing facility in the city, the A.O. Smith plant, employing 1,200 local residents, make sure that facility kept operating. It had 6 feet of water. It was close to shutting down, but that didn't intimidate the mayor. He took charge. He swiftly secured local permits to get the reconstruction going. He worked with state and local and federal officials to encourage the company to rebuild and to stay. And because of his activities, the A.O. Smith plant today remains in Ashland, is contributing to the economy, and is keeping about 1,200 Ashland residents and American citizens at work. So good work, Mayor. Thank you for your leadership. Now, in Millington, Tennessee, they also saw the brunt of these floods, as we did in Rhode Island. 18 inches of rain fell, and Larry Sylvie, a retired Navy flight engineer and building contractor, heard the call, and like all good Navy veterans, he marched, as they say, to the sound of the guns. He went right to where the problems were. He knew of a local church that could be used as a shelter. He got there, discovered it was full of water, so he started immediately vacuuming the water. As other people arrived, he organized them. He got permission to set up a tent next to the church in a yard so he could have a place to operate, a command post. Then he started organizing volunteers. He gathered people who had skill doing electrical work and plumbing and drywall. He went ahead and got some laborers. They started rebuilding immediately. Volunteers came from far away as Louisiana, and on his own, he was a one-man FEMA. He got them going, pointed in the right direction, did extraordinary work. And when they needed materials to do some work, he covered the course. Within 7 weeks, Larry and his team had logged more than 10,000 hours of free labor, rebuilding 200 homes and giving recovery a head start for the people of Millington. Larry, thank you. I must say I'm not surprised, because anyone who served the nation as you have for 20 or more years in the United States Navy, that's exactly what you've been doing all your life. But thank you very, very much. Now, I have to give a bit of a shout out to two of my colleagues, because I've talked about the flooding in Tennessee. Senators Lamar Alexander and Bob Corker were right there on the scene. They worked with me to help get additional resources for the state of Tennessee and the state of Rhode Island. So I think both the mayor and Larry should go back and thank their senators for a job well done. They're extraordinarily decent and honorable members of the United States Senate. Now, my great privilege is to recognize a Rhode Islander. We in Rhode Island suffered the same floods in April of 2010. A huge disaster for us. Over $100 million in damages, and in Rhode Island, that's a big number. It was declared by the president a disaster area. Homes were engulfed with water. Rhode Islanders lost their power, they lost possessions, appliances. Our biggest commercial mall, our biggest retail mall in the state, was thoroughly inundated and was inoperable for many, many months. We had job losses. We were in a situation already where we had a 13% unemployment rate before the floods hit. We had family-run businesses and large businesses, all of them suffering. But we had a great spirit in Rhode Island, a spirit that you saw in Tennessee, a spirit you see across this country. And Jamie Silvestri's story is one of the many stories that exemplifies this great spirit. Now, Jamie's family has owned Wesley Auto Parts for 60 years. He started working there as a senior in high school. He made managing his store and expanding it his goal in life. He acquired the business from his mother in 1986, and then he's opened 2 other stores in nearby Connecticut. But early in the morning of March 30th, 2010, the heavy rain started falling. Within a month, there was 17.23 inches of rain in Westerly, Rhode Island, and frankly, we were thoroughly inundated. Not only was the Pawcatuck River rising, but underwater, water was moving all through the town. At 7 a.m., he got a call that the Westerly Auto Parts, his manager said the store is filling up with water. The basement was filling up. At 3 feet high on the main floor of the store, it was going to damage his store and maybe put him out of business, his whole life. Well, Jamie had another responsibility besides his store and his family. He was a volunteer firefighter, and he responded to the call of the Westerly Volunteer Department to go out and help other people. He selflessly dedicated himself all through those trying days to helping others, but he was determined to get his store back in business. Well, he had 30 employees he had to worry about. He had lots of things to worry about. He quickly found a new site because his original site was not appropriately usable. He didn't have flood insurance. He was looking at more than $300,000 worth of losses and damages, but he wasn't going to give out, and he didn't. He had the help of a lot of people. Napa spent 40 volunteers from around New England to help him get his store back in business. He got disaster loans from the SBA. Thank you, SBA. He got assistance from the Chamber of Commerce. He had customers come forward and pay forward a bit so that he could be helped out a bit. He had devoted employees that wouldn't give up on him because he didn't give up on them. And in just 12 days, after the flooding had subsided and he'd finished his volunteer firefighting duties, Westerly Auto Parts reopened to once again serve the community. And since that time, he's not only been reopened, he's hired additional staff. Ladies and gentlemen, these 3 individuals represent the best of America. Today we salute them, and we also salute the SBA for their assistance. But this spirit of sacrifice, this spirit of helping others, this is what made this country great, and this spirit will keep us great. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.